it's Mikell with the Musi-Gals, here with another musical of the month. Now, for February, I had a few love story musicals that I've heard of, but really didn't know anything about. You guys helped me to choose maybe Happy Ending. And listen, great choice, everyone. Big fan. This I've heard of, obviously. I knew that it won a Tony for Best Musical, and I knew that Darren Criss was in it. But that was pretty much all I knew going in. I heard from you guys that there were robots and it's a love story. So really going in, that was it. And it did not disappoint. It had robots and a love story, but it had an interesting part of it. So I want to just react a little bit about what I thought of maybe Happy Ending, and then we'll see what else you guys pick, because this has been actually really fun. It's been a really fun journey to just get into new musicals. So, highly recommend if you haven't listened to or watched a new musical lately, this is your sign. Go and do that. Just choose one. Ask your friends if they have a suggestion or if they have a recommendation, and just go watch it. Find the soundtrack. You can follow along the storyline on Wikipedia if you need, and you can listen to a soundtrack and imagine it in your mind if there's not a recording of it. Okay, so for going in and just knowing that it was kind of a futuristic love story, I figured it would be good. But it was just lovely. Like, what a wonderful, wholesome story. Which and it's short. It's a short musical. I think it's just over an hour, just under 2 hours maybe, but there's no intermission. So it's a pretty short storyline, but it gives all the things that you want. You've got some character development, you get change, and they've got hard choices, and they deal with some real life stuff, but they are helper bots. They're these robots who are there to help humans. So, some things that really surprised me though was the set. Now, you can go, if you don't know the story of maybe Happy Ending, you can go look it up on Wikipedia or look it up on Playbill. They kind of go into the story. So I'm not going to go into recapping the storyline or the plot, but I do want to comment on the production side of things. The set was so much fun to watch, to see. They've got these, again, it's futuristic, and so it's a little more tech, and I didn't know what to expect with that. And they've got the screens that come down with an LED kind of box where you focus in on Oliver, the male helper bot's apartment. But then they kind of close out almost like an old TV screen when you turned off the TV and like you see the zoom of color into the middle. That's kind of the vibe that it was giving me. And then it would open up on Claire, the female helper bot's apartment. And just that use of moving from apartment to apartment, opening it up, closing it back up, was super effective in helping the audience stay focused and keeping it in this futuristic kind of world. So I thought that was just a really effective use of technology. And the simple things, it seems like a simple set, but I was so intrigued by it. I went to YouTube and I found this behind the scenes video. So if you want to go to YouTube, I think it's called From Script to Stage, maybe Happy Ending. And they actually do a tour of the set. And some of the things they brought up were actual questions that I was thinking after watching it, because I love the tech side of theater and am nerdy. So there were moments where I'm like, wait, how did you just do that? How did that just happen? One of those being, at one point, Oliver, the helper bot, decides he's going to leave, he's going to move. And so in only a few seconds, you see his fully furnished apartment kind of zoom out, so it's closed off. And then a few seconds later, it opens back up and everything is off the walls. Everything is packed up. Now, obviously, it's not in the suitcases he's holding, right? But just hidden within a few seconds. They clear the walls, they get out of all the magazines. And I was wondering how that happened. And while they don't show you the video of how it's happening, which I would love to see that choreographed dance with all the tech crew, they do kind of talk about some of the behind the scenes little details in Oliver's apartment. And it's super cool, from this magazine elevator to show the passage of time to different compartments where they can hide water on stage for the actors. If you are interested in the tech side of theater or set design at all, definitely go and check that out, because I think that seeing and talking to different set designers, seeing behind the scenes for different stories is a great way to open your mind to be like, okay, maybe you're at a high school, maybe you're at a community theater, and you're like, we don't have this capability, but we can do this kind of stage magic. And you might take something from this and apply it to a scene in Hairspray, or your school doing the Music Man, right? You might realize actually that stage magic we could do. So go check that out if you are interested in that at all. Seriously, the zooming in and out, the use of video, right? A lot of productions now have some sort of LED video screen involved, and this one it totally fit to show the passage of time where Oliver's been in this apartment for years. Huh. Okay, so that's the set. Big fan. I think coming away from it, I loved the characters, I loved the story, but I was just intrigued by the set and the staging for this whole thing. I thought it was really creatively done. Now, should you watch it? Yes. I was surprised, again, like I said, wholesome. It's just like very family friendly too. But you could take it as either, oh, that's a cute kind of story, and dealing with seeing with how, oh, these two people, they're figuring out what unexpected, maybe love could feel like. It's a cute story. Or you can even take the same story and the situation, factor in like, and make you really think about what is love, right? And they talk about these helper bots, they are robots, so they don't have, regular human emotions or emotional connection, but you show that they do have some sort of connection or loyalty to their the humans that they're helping, and especially for Oliver. So I think it's interesting if you're showing like that loyalty, or like almost a friendship, right? Pushing that feeling of, what does love look like? What does love feel like if it's not in the normal human sense? Does it look like just showing up for your person? Does it look like having fun? Does it look like being loyal and solving each other's problems, or pushing each other? At one point they argue, and they're like, but it's like a pretend argument, but they're testing out all of these things. Once they do end up, they're like, yeah, we like each other. um it's like they're testing out all these things that they've seen the humans do in relationships. So that's kind of an interesting aspect, or side perspective on love to be taking. So around Valentine's Day, that was a fun kind of watch. So you could take it either way. Take it as a fun, entertaining story, or it can start making you think about, what does this look like? And then it made me think too, like, in just for humans, like, what in real life what does love look like, right? What does it feel like? And so that whole thing was just really interesting thing. So I loved the show overall. I This is another one, I didn't come away humming any of the songs, but I think knowing the storyline, I would probably say I would go back and listen to them. I would listen to them like on a road trip or something, to kind of review the story and be like, "Oh yeah, that is really fun." Had some really fun upbeat songs, and if you guys know, that's the upbeat peppy stuff is more my speed, and Monica and I joke about that while we enjoy both, she tends to enjoy a good, more ballad or not somber, but maybe like deeper kind of musical or show. And I'm all for the happy, peppy. Like, do we really need to have a life crisis, or can we just like enjoy and have a dance number? That's a little bit more my thing. That was fun. And I love that the two, I think there's a few reasons why the two robots were so different, why Oliver and Claire, the helper bots, are different. One of them, though, is Claire is a helper bot 5 versus Oliver, a helper bot 3. So that's an interesting thing to like say that there's two different personalities, but also because they're two different versions. But you kind of see a lot of parallels, right? When any one of two personalities, two different strengths and weaknesses get together, how they could complement and how they might cause some friction. And just along that, that's another area where you're seeing helper bots learn to become friends and fall in love, but you can see that reflected in a reflection of human kind of relationships too. So just fun. I know I'm saying fun a lot, but it really was just like this nice show to sit back and enjoy. And is there anything else? I think those are all my big thoughts. Definitely go and check out that behind the scenes stuff on YouTube though, because that set tour is really awesome. Anyway, that's it for me for now. That was February's, and I'm very excited to do another new musical, which might be an old musical. They might have been out for years, but it's new to me. A new musical reaction. So until next time, keep watching musical theater, check out some tech, support your community theater and whatever production they're doing, volunteer, go see the show, pay for concessions while you're there, help them out. And like always, remember, there's nothing like live theater. See ya!